we saw what Dr. King, what he did and all of these things. And so in the midst of the darkness, I think it's so important that you hold on to the vision and the exposure or whatever you had from before, because again, it didn't look anything like I thought it was gonna look at the time.
This episode is brought to you by our partner in crime, Organifi. Organifi is an organic superfood supplement line that makes quality, trusted nutrition convenient and accessible. Their most popular product, green juice, can supercharge your life, restore that glow, and help you feel decades younger in just 30 seconds per day without having to worry about shopping for ingredients, mixing and blending them, and then cleaning up afterwards. All ingredients are USDA organic, vegan-friendly, and made without GMO ingredients, gluten, or soy. Where else can you get superfoods like chlorella, moringa, spirulina, wheatgrass, ashwagandha, and turmeric, just to name a few? So make sure you guys check it out at www.organifi.com/success. That's ORGANIFI.com/success. Today's show is brought to you by Ashford University. Ashford University is a WSCUC accredited institution that offers innovative online degree programs that can help you achieve your higher education goals. Higher learning is more accessible than ever and can easily fit into your schedule. Gain skills you can use in your job now and knowledge that prepares you for the job market of tomorrow. We are a few weeks into 2020 and we know that flipping the calendar creates endless possibilities. New and exciting opportunities are coming your way. And you, well, your job is to be ready for them. And it all starts with earning your master's degree at Ashford University. Get ready to grab new opportunities. Start your master's degree today. Enroll now by going to ashford.edu/success. That's ashford.edu/success to start your master's degree today. And now to today's show.
I wake up every single day. I am who I say I am. And I get what I get because I live in beast mode. Stop being gazelles. You're not average. You're not even good. You were born to be great.
What's going on, world? Welcome to another edition of the Secret to Success podcast. I'm your host, CJ, joined as always by Douglas Thomas, the hip-hop preacher.
I always
in the building.
It always hurt me, though, because I'm second.
Douglas.
I'm here in the Beijing.
We'll get Carl. We got Carl coming back. Don't worry. Carl is a little under the weather. Pray for Carl, man. Pray for the fam. Of course, he was under the weather. His uncle also passed, so Carl been dealing with a couple things over the last couple weeks, but I talked to him earlier, man. He's doing phenomenal, and we'll be back in our studios soon. Man. Next few weeks, we'll be back in the studio. My right, I also got my brother, the 9 to 5 millionaire in the building.
9 to 5 million.
Hey, let's go.
Dr. King, on Dr. King Day.
I have a dream.
And we in Atlanta.
Yes, sir.
You know what I'm saying? So, and we in E's middle-class hotel room. As you can see, it's like 6 rooms. We're in, exactly. So, it is. We are recording this on Dr. Martin Luther King Day, which is just huge. And so, man, I guess we could start there before we get into the podcast. E, obviously, huge inspiration of yours and everybody. But I think you maybe even more so as a speaker, a pastor,
right.
And just kind of like
he was.
Activist. Modeling yourself kind of in that lane. And I think it was maybe even, more so appropriate that, being the work we were doing yesterday with the young kids. So, I know we do this every year, and we will continue to do it every year, but we can't open the podcast and not discuss, the legacy and kind of what it means to you. And, Dr. King used to stay at Mall House, you know what I'm saying? So we can get into that too. And that's not a joke. That's the real deal. So
that property. That's huge. But I think crazy what happened to me this morning. Shout out to Kev and a couple other people. But I literally received happy birthday, happy MLK Day. It's like Merry Christmas, Happy New Year. And in my circle, there were a few white males that hit me up this morning. And I was like, yo, that's dope. You know what I'm saying? Of course, it's dope, period. That Martin Luther King was able to leave such a legacy that, we honor, his life and his legacy. But the fact that, I think Martin Luther King was super be proud, not just that, me and you, what up, man, but to have, white males in my inner circle hit me up like, yo, E, man, and thank you for all you do. I was like, yo, ML would have been proud of himself that he put us in a position that we, even in our company, even last night with the work we do, you would have thought only black students would have came, but you had all kind of students show up yesterday. And I was proud of that. Like, one family drove an hour away from Jackson, Georgia. You know what I'm saying? So, and he had about 5 or 6 of his kids, all white, male, female children. I was just like, wow, this is what Dr. Martin Luther King was all about. But for me, man, it's a lot of pressure. I didn't really realize it. Like when you see him on TV and you see him, the marches, whatever. But yesterday, imagine having over 1,000 kids locked and loaded.
Yep.
You know what I'm saying? Like focused, like going over. And I think he helped me a lot because before it was a movement to me, or before I saw myself in his light, it was just like a message. But yesterday, I don't know if y'all know this, but like I gave them a card and was like, step 1, step 2, step 3, like y'all need steps. And when you leave, like don't leave, oh man, Maul got it. That's crazy. Maul got that joker right here. So it's like, yo, don't leave motivated or pumped up or inspired, but like here is the blueprint. Like if you do these 10 steps, we can go from, man, and I'm so privileged because when Martin Luther King was doing this, literally, they got dogs out, they had to have the National Guards out, he got shot and killed, and we were like color water fountain, white water fountain. Like we literally now are in a position where we one step removed from what he really dreamed. Yeah. Like when he was doing it, they might have been 50 steps. You know what I'm saying? It was on something we can overcome, but you might have been 50 steps from it. Mm-hmm. It's like I was watching the Super Bowl, AFC and NFC championship, and I'm just like, yo, both of these teams are one step away from being a champion. Right. Yep. You know what I'm saying? Like you go from preseason to the season to the playoffs, now they one step. Like I'm looking last night with Martin Luther King, like, yo, this is a black school, and this school looked like a university. Yeah. Benjamin Banneker looked like a major university. So I'm like, y'all, we only one step away. And now the dangerous thing is it's only one person keeping you from, you feel me, Maul? Mm-hmm. Like I think about, what you do with the Make Real Estate Real. It's like, yo, you in the room, you only your credit score, an application, you know what I'm saying? You only a down payment away from being a multimillionaire and having land. Like we fought for 40 acres and a mule. Yeah. And it's just like yesterday I was so geek. I was like, thank you, MLK. Yeah, I'm doing what you're doing, but I'm only one step removed from these kids being able to be anything they want to be. Yeah. When we leave here, ain't nobody waiting for us outside. When we leave here, ain't nobody got to worry about getting shot and killed by somebody because they don't like the fact that we ain't here talking about what we talking about. You know what I'm saying? Like, yo, we got police officers here. Like, yo, and I just was geek, man. Like, yo, we one step removed. And then for the kids, and a lot of people don't know this, Maul, but when Martin Luther King was doing this, he wasn't popular. He didn't get popular votes from the white side, and he only had like 29% votes from the black side. Yeah. So he wasn't, I was popular yesterday.
Right.
I was popular. Yeah. Like the kids coming up to me taking pics. We had a DJ going in there. Right. It was people on the news wanted to come out. It was parents bringing their kid. Like I was popular. MLK wasn't popular. I don't know if people remember, but it was like a division between the way he was doing it and people like Marcus Garvey, people like Malcolm X, and people was like, yo, you a punk. Like you punking out with this like, we shall overcome foolishness, marching, you know what I'm saying, sit-ins. They was like, yo, that's whack. Like we got to go eye for an eye, tooth for a tooth. Like let's go get registered. The Black Panthers was in Cali getting registered with guns, bro. They weren't playing. And so he wasn't as popular then as he is now. Yeah. Mm-hmm. You feel what I'm saying? And so, but me yesterday, because of him, I'm in that joker super popular. People posting stuff on the internet, sending it out. So yeah, man, yesterday was just like, man, I owe him so much. And let's not forget Coretta Scott King, you know, and his kids who had to make, so I look at Didi be like, okay, you was out all day, now it's my time. I'm thinking like Martin Luther King didn't have no time. You know what I'm saying? Coretta didn't have no time. Out all day, It was an all-day affair for multiple days. No his kids didn't get to see him, no cell. You can't, you know what I'm saying? You can't fake text Didi and text. Oh. You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? So yeah, bro, it was yesterday was phenomenal, and today just to sit back and look at his legacy is just like his name will be remembered forever. That's big, bro. Yeah. What would be our legacy, as you always say.
Yeah. And for you, Ma, you heard me say it.
Yeah, that's big.
But to live in a home where Dr. King spent some time, and I guess if you feel like you could tell that story of kind of like how you know that and the history behind it.
Yeah, it's crazy because before I even bought our house, I didn't know that Dr. King actually used to stay there sometimes.
Yeah.
And so the lady who lived in our house before us, she passed away at 101 years old. Wow. She never had kids. She was part of this ministers' coalition, right? That was down south. She came to Chicago with the Great Migration with her parents, and they occupied our house. They were one of the first Black families in that area. And this was Millionaires Row. So all of these mansions were lined up, and it was nothing but like white families, rich white families, prestigious white families. Yeah. And this first Black family came from Mississippi, and they were ministers, evangelists, and they lived in our home. Now, this woman, her name was Primrose Funches. She was—
That sound rich.
Oh, yeah. Primrose. Primrose Funches. And she was over the Ministers' Coalition that the young Dr. Martin Luther King belonged to. So she was actually over him. She was like one of his mentors in this coalition. And whenever he used to come to town, him and his young bride, Coretta Scott King, young bride, they would come and stay at our house. And this is people, I had older people that was in the neighborhood tell me, now this is keep in mind, I already own the house. Yeah. I'm fixing the house up. I'm like, man, this house is beautiful. Yeah. My family gonna stay out here. We're living on King Drive. And it was crazy because just to go back to the name of the street before that was called Grand Boulevard. The lady Primrose Funches, she's instrumental on renaming that street after her friend, Dr. Martin Luther King. So you can just imagine, bro. And it was a lady that lived in our neighborhood that passed away, and she would tell me, next door neighbor, she would say, "Oh, young man, do you know who used to stay at this house? Like, do you know? Do you really know the history of this house?" And I don't know, no ma'am. And she told me the whole thing about the lady Primrose Funches was that just the history of her alone was something. But to say that, oh yeah, every time Martin Luther King would come here, he would come in the house and she would cook dinner for him. And in the front door is this huge staircase. Both of y'all been to the house. Huge staircase with this huge mirror. And as soon as you walk in the house, the reason why the architect built this house this way in the 1800s, because they believed in capturing the image of the person that walked into the house. And I told C before, I said, man, it's so crazy. I did the history of this house, and I'm the least of them that lived in this house.
Wow.
I'm the least of them.
Wow.
The guy that built the house, Charles Kern, when he passed away, he left his wife over $100 million in the 1800s, which we consider like $1 billion today.
Absolutely.
Primrose Funches, I'm not sure of the amount of money she had, but when you just look at her legacy and who she was and how she poured into Dr. Martin Luther King, and to know that this man walked into this house. So every time I walk into this house, man, there's huge mirrors right there, and it's at the top of the stairs. And so just imagine the feeling. Even when I'm about to go speak with you, I'm just like, man, like, you know what I'm saying? Like, bro, like Dr. Martin Luther King, the image. And this is the original, we had this mirror appraised out, and it's the original mirror from the 1800s. So you could just imagine just all of the greatness. I've even had my children going from this mirror and like, look at yourself. Do you know who stood in this mirror before you?
Yeah, no question.
Like, look at yourself. Like, you can do it. What's the mark you're gonna leave? And that's what I look at myself. Like, what's my mark? What's my part? What am I gonna do now? Like, man, Dr. Martin Luther, and it's crazy because the first person, Charles Kern, he was a businessman, multimillionaire in the 1800s. But yet I had another person like Dr. Martin Luther King who wasn't on money, but he was on legacy.
Right.
So I figured that I'm gonna make myself both of them. I'm gonna make myself a businessman that's on the money, but yet I'm gonna have that other part where I wanna affect millions of people. So while I'm making millions, I wanna affect millions.
Wow.
So I figure like that's my legacy, with both of them. So man, it's just—
somebody gonna be talking about we were in that house.
We were in that house, exactly.
You know what I'm saying? 100 years from now, they're gonna be like, Ma, EC, so-and-so, like they was your daughters who gonna be tennis greats.
Yeah.
I was watching tennis this morning. I was watching the Australian Open like 2:00 this morning. And I was like, yo, the girl's gonna eventually be in that circle. So people gonna be able to go back. Imagine that one house is gonna have that much legacy. Man, that's crazy that we talk about leaving a legacy, but even a house, because it started with legacy, is keeping the legacy going.
Yeah.
Isn't that crazy? That one house has that much legacy in that one house. Yeah, that's crazy. Yeah.
So it's just a blessing, bro. And I'm
about to go look in the mirror in your crib.
Look in the mirror.
In February.
That's the name. Look in the mirror.
You feel me?
Check in and see who owned my house. It was born in 05. You know what I'm saying? It might have been somebody sweet off in that joke. I don't even know. You know what I'm saying? 05. I'm trying to see Mr. Johnson. Well, he was on when he built that pool.
He was on something.
He was on something. You know what I'm saying?
He was on something.
I ain't looked in the mirror yet. Shoot, no wonder I'm slipping.
Look in the mirror.
Man, look in the mirror, see.
So many things to talk about. And I don't know which way y'all want to go. But Maul, you talked about, and maybe we could stay on exposure. You know, that how big that was for you. But, you know, as we get more seasoned in our careers and things like that, I just think of all the things we're exposed to, right? All the people you're exposed to. And so we talk about like, you know, when Avery was going through, you know, that thing, it's like, yo, I had pediatric surgeons, I had, you know what I mean? And I'm like, wow, I'm just exposed to a whole new environment. And, you know, for you, of course, when you were exposed to, you know, cats in the NFL and things of that nature, just a different lifestyle, a broader lifestyle. You, when you came to Oakwood, you know what I'm saying? And I think that's something that we don't get into a whole lot, but we should, you know, and particularly I was thinking yesterday about like the Bell Tower ministry, right? Like, you know what I mean? And you know what's crazy is I actually don't know a ton about it, even though I've heard about it, but I'm looking like, wow, when you look at all the steps it took to get here, and I was thinking about it, you know, in two ways, because yesterday, I'm be real. So we've come so far from where we were, but yesterday was like going back in the future,
right? Because
it was exactly where we started.
Yeah.
So what we did yesterday in Atlanta, with You Not the Boss of Me, was exactly the same thing E and I came up doing. But imagine how, because of the exposure, right, how much my mind was blown, because I remember back in the day, listen, man, I think I can't remember, I think it was Q who was right there. And you know what I told Q? I said, bruh, picture this. I said, first of all, we was in gyms that wasn't nowhere near this nice.
Right.
And I said, imagine you got 1,000 kids on both sides, bleachers here, bleachers here. No mic, no speakers. Yeah. Bro, in the gym, the kids can barely hear a word you saying. Yeah. The kids going ham. I said, bro, think about this. Whatever you think of me and E and the movement now and what we, you know, came up and how things go now, I said, I remember being in New Jersey, speaking on stage. The kids was so wild. The principal came and took the mic out of my hand. We had a mic this time. It was like, remember that?
Joe Clark came.
My man came and took the mic out of my hand and was like, yo, you embarrassing us in front of these dudes that came to come speak to you and try to give y'all a word. And I'm like, so then yesterday, E comes in, the kids going crazy, adults going crazy. And I'm like,
hold on, you gotta talk about the smoke.
Oh, we got DJ.
Not just the band, but what was the other section you saw with the violin?
But listen, I honestly felt like in my spirit, somebody needed to hear this. Because it may have had nothing to do with speaking. Whatever your career is, or wherever you at in life, there was a time when Eric Thomas and CJ out on the road together, the principal had to grab the mic out of our hand and tell the students like, yo, I'm about to suspend y'all. You about to get it. You embarrassing me. You about to get expelled. Y'all better be quiet. And they handed the mic back like, all right, keep going.
Yeah.
I'm saying, but like from that to E walks in yesterday. By the way, I was thinking like when E walked in yesterday, I'm like, man, he famous for real. I'm like, this is getting scary. No, it's scary. Like he walked in and like, of course I'm forgetting. So I'm like in my mind, like this is my brother. Like blood couldn't make us no tighter. And he come in, and so I'm like, I ain't seen him in a couple of days. I was like, let me acknowledge. I was like, whoa. Right, I'm like, dang, I can't even. No, it's different. Then I'm sitting there and I'm like, wow. Like, it wasn't too long ago, we was in like Crenshaw, California, Orange, New Jersey, and they were like literally ready to throw rotten eggs at us.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Like, and I remember thinking back then, like, dog, I can't even imagine, like, yo, if y'all would just listen to us, we sweet.
Yeah.
Like, I got some information. Like, I know what you thinking. They got a motivational speaker coming in, and trust me, I didn't want to hear that when I was young either. Yeah. But I'm like, yo, we different. Yeah. But I'm saying, no. Listen what I'm saying. Right. We were dope. And we were dope back then. Yeah. He was cold back then. Mm-hmm. But the exposure and what we've been exposed to and how we've been able to build this thing now has us in a completely different light. And I'm telling you, somebody out there, you started a business and it don't look the way you think it should look. Yeah. When we were doing that, I didn't picture the principal having to be like, hey, sit down. Yeah. And then they give me the mic back, like, all right, continue where you were. Yeah. It didn't look the way I thought it should look, but staying to it. And I'm so grateful for exposure because we saw what it could look like. You know, we saw what Dr. King, you know, what he did and all of these things. And so in the midst of the darkness, I think it's so important that you hold on to the vision and the exposure or whatever you had from before, because again, it didn't look anything like I thought it was going to look at the time. Yeah. When he was like, yo, we about to go and do this and, you know, we're going to change lives. We're going to do all these things. Imagine how defeated I would feel after we went to a school like that and they was wilding out like that. And then we was like, all right, appreciate y'all time. And the kids just get up and walk up. We walking through the midst of the kids. They like, excuse me, move. Like, and to get to this point. And so.
I wonder what those kids, man, it's probably crazy. I wonder what those kids thinking now.
Oh, yeah. I mean,
I'm saying they're not kids now, they're adults.
Yeah.
But they know the videos. And I know they're probably watching like, yo, that dude came to our school. And I'm sure though, Maul, and this is why people who are in their journey, you have to be careful. Man, it's this video I wanted to show y'all when y'all first got in, but I didn't get to show y'all. Stupid, it's on Facebook, right? It's a third world country. And so this dude takes this old TV. Mm-hmm. It's like, you know, the big boxes, remember back in the day? He takes this old TV, lifts the dirt, puts it about 6 feet under, and then he put the dirt back on top of it. Then he started watering it. And then it's a little bit of tree, and then the tree grow big, and then it's like a big plasma 60-inch on that boy.
Yeah,
you know what I'm saying? Stupid. I'm dying laughing. Big 60-inch plasma. And he take that sucker and run. But I'm like, yo, like that's what's happening when you first start your thing. You're actually digging the dirt and you putting your seed in the ground. Right. And we know that before a seed can grow, it has to die. Mm-hmm. And so it's in the dirt, it's dark, it's black, the seed dies. Right. But once the seed dies, something comes to life. Mm-hmm. And so to CJ's point, when we're in our darkest point, that's when everything that we think is, because we thought certain ways about the school, all that had to die. Yeah. And when we were going through our struggle, that's really what brought forth the light. Like, that's like, to me, when you're in your darkest point, that's when you're either going to go to your greatest point or you're going to stop. Because it's like dark, it hurt. Like, it's not glamorous. And I think the dark part is so important because it really weeds people out. Because everybody want to be down when it look great. But you don't really know who got your back and who you're supposed to be with unless you go through the dark. Yeah. Like the dark is what proves you deserve to be here. Yep. You feel me? And so I'm just thinking though.
You adopted the dark.
I was raised in the dark. I was born in the dark.
You know what I'm saying? You stroll by the dark. You know what I'm saying? You look in the dark.
Yeah, you adapted to the dark. Yeah. But you got to believe that there were kids in the midst of that who were listening to us.
Yeah.
Who was like, we dope. You got to believe there was a couple kids that was watching these other kids clown. It's like, yo, I'm going to get focused. But I wonder those kids that was clowning, that now they watching the videos. Because we got a kid from Michigan State who we saw a video, Maul. This kid, I don't know if he put it up. I think he put it up. But he was literally on like a drug. So it might have been meth or something. He was one of our students at Michigan State.
Or crack.
Oh, he was on crack cocaine. And that person recorded it while he was on crack. And so he's doing, I mean, he on crack, bro, gone. He sent the video to us. And this is what he said. Then he showed me a video of where he is right now. He was like, I got on crack, bro. I was homeless, bro. He was like, yo, before y'all even blew up, I was y'all first student. And everything you and CJ told me, I didn't do it. Now I'm watching the videos. Yeah. He like, I'm watching the videos now, Marcus. My man, like, I'm watching them and growing. He was like, before the videos, I had y'all. Like, y'all was sitting, like, before y'all started doing videos, y'all was kicking it to me. And y'all, and he was one of our get up at 6 o'clock in the morning, boys. C used to have a group of kids, males, getting up, what was it called? Male initiative, some kind of street team. And they would meet at 6 and we doing stuff with them. He was like, yo, I was there.
Bro, I was off the chain, dog. Yeah. I don't even know. I was so mad. Remember, I would come in the room, like, we'd be like, we was like a fraternity. Yeah. It was like, yo, meet us at 6 o'clock in the morning at Bessie Hall. Yeah. Bro, we'll go up to Bessie Hall, and I was like, the problem is y'all distracted. I'll make them stand in the line, like, don't move, don't flinch, nothing. Bro, I took a trash can, a metal trash can, and like threw it over their head, and that's a pow, 6 o'clock in the morning.
Yeah, that sound like hazing, dog.
Bro, but we was trying. I didn't even know. I was only like 22.
Sound like some police. That's what they did in the police academy.
But I was just like, yo, y'all not focused. But you know, to E's point, you know, when you think back on those moments, and again, every moment that it took to get to here, and I said it on the call the other night, and I was just like, yo, it's crazy, but like people abort their mission so fast because it doesn't look the way they thought it should look. Mm-hmm. But you've never been down this path. So how do you know what it's supposed to look like anyway?
Go back to that instant gratification, boy, that we talked about, man.
Yeah, go for it.
Everybody knows. Just everybody looking for that instant gratification. And that's why, you know, I'm so big on exposure. I tell people, man, exposure to me is more important than money. It's bigger than anything you can have, because what it does, exposure saves you time. Yeah. It saves you from mistakes. Right. Just look at it. I'm gonna go back to what we were talking about. CJ the other day was telling me, he was just like, man, Ma, it's just crazy. You know, he always talk about like when y'all first started and things like that. And he was just like, man, I've coached a lot of speakers. And he was like, and I have yet to see a speaker pick it up this quick like you have. He's like, I mean, with no training. He's like, you just, other than the conversations we've had, he's just like, you've never taken a speaker's class. You've never given a speech anywhere. And he was like, bro, I've never seen anybody that fast. And I looked at C and I looked at him, I was like, bro, I'm supposed to do this. And he was like, why you feel you're supposed to? I'm like, bro, I'm connected with the number one motivational speaker in the world. I'm connected with CJ, the number one teacher in the world. So I was like, bro, the exposure that I'm getting organically, I've never set up with E and like, okay, E, how do you become a good speaker? I've never asked that question. Right. E never sat down with me like, Ma, this is what you gotta say on stage. E never done that. But yet, being around E, just in conversation, being around you, we talk so much. I'm here, your family, everything. So the exposure level, it's just like, I could flip and say, I've never seen anybody buy 9 properties, 10 properties in less than 7 months. Right. That just started out in real estate. But because of the exposure level from being connected with somebody who's been in real estate for 20 years, you're supposed to do that. You're supposed to succeed in real estate. You're not supposed to go through the things that I went through maybe in the beginning or somebody else just starting out. So that exposure takes you 10, 20 years past, in leap years, past everybody else because of who you're connected with. And it did the same thing for me as far as just speaking. And just, you know, just that whole personal development and things like that, bro. So I tell people, man, they don't value exposure enough. People don't value it, bro. They looking for that instant gratification. They just trying to get in with stuff. And
they don't realize that what exposure does, it gives you the process. Yeah. That gets you to the end. Yeah. You feel me? And so, to your point, I was like, me and Didi were talking. We was like, yo, we got bless Mr. Burnett and Sister Burnett. He did 3 things. So the first thing he did was, he was the first African-American that I knew that organized the Democratic National Convention, right? And he also did the Baptist National Convention. So I literally would go to these events with him and see him hire people from ground up that would take a hotel and that's going to sit 10,000 people. And from the way it looked from when we walked in to the finish that you see on TV, when you watching them debate, he put that whole thing together. I'm sitting here with President Clinton. I'm with the mayor of Detroit. I'm with, you know what I'm saying? I'm with governors. I got my black suit on. You know what I'm saying? I'm got my little pin on. People think.
And this is before, by the way, this is before I even knew E.
I don't even think I had my degree by then, the first one.
This was in the middle of the 12 to get a phone? It was like 6, 7, 8.
I was about in the 10. I was about in the 10 when I met Mr. B. You know what I'm saying? Because I met his son in 99. And I didn't graduate till 2001. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? So it was in that process. So imagine me being with Mr. B and they doing concerts. So he bringing in the Gap Band. You know, he bringing in Kool and the Gang. You know what I'm saying? Because it's that age, whatever. He bringing in all the stars. So you getting to meet. And I'm talking about not meet more I mean, they had dinner, they in the room with him. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? Baby, like he knew all these people. And I'm in the room like seeing these people walk in and out. Not really paying attention because to C's point, I never saw myself here. But now it makes sense because I was with the cats who was number one in their industry and I'm hearing the conversation. The verbiage is more than anything, Maul. Let me tell you something. Here's the thing I think that's the sweetest thing about exposure. You're sitting with Clinton, not like, I'm not with Clinton like, you know, in a big audience where he talking to people. We in the back. Yeah. And so now you're hearing conversations and I'm like, oh, they human. Yeah. Seriously. No, that was a thing that really blew my mind. I'm in the back with the Commodores.
We knew Bill was human.
Yeah. So I didn't know. Yeah, I didn't know. You know what I'm saying? I didn't know.
We knew Bill. You know what I'm saying?
He had the saxophone. You know what the
saxophone.
Yeah, exactly. City Hall. Right. You talking about the saxophone on a City Hall show.
Bill very human.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? So for me, I saw people on TV and I was just like, wow.
Tell him that is human.
Yeah.
Why?
What would you do this way? I like living this way. I like living this way. And so y'all never have to question who's the one that takes us off track, who's the one with the jokes. You never have to wonder.
Bro, I couldn't. It was too good, and it was just. I was like, "See, let me go."
I'm not mad.
I couldn't. I just couldn't. I needed to get it in. I'm sorry. Back to business.
Yeah, no question. So
you had the convention with Clinton. You and Clinton.
Right.
Who else? You, Clinton, and Babyface.
Yeah, right.
Walking to a bar.
You feel me? And they were talking, and I was just like, "Yo, they humans." Yeah. It was funny. I met a dude. We were in Virginia Beach. Me and Nikki was in Virginia Beach doing a gig, and the guy came to me and was like, "Yo, bro, I promise you, I'm not trying to disrespect you. Like, I look up to you. You my hero. But you said something today." And I was like, what'd I say? He said, man, I'm for real. I'm not trying to. I was like, bro, whatever. Just say it. I'm a human, you, and whatever. He was like, yo, bro, I just realized today you know better than me. And I was like, wow. Like, I don't know why you thought I was in the first place. You know what I'm saying? YouTube made you think that. Yeah. But it was a revelation for him. And he was just like, wow, bro. Like, younger white male. He was like, yo, E, you ain't better than me, bro. We both human, bro. Yeah. And I looked him in the face and I said, now that you know you can fly on, my brother. Fly on. You know what I'm saying? Like, no more limits, bro. Yeah. Now that you just peeped out, you got wings, I told him, go fly, bro. So for me, the first thing was I knew Mr. B, and I saw him talking to them, and he was in charge. Okay. I'm like, yo, I know that dude. I go to church with that dude. Right. I eat dinner at my man's crib. Like, I teach his children. Yeah. Me and his mom pray together. Yeah. I physically know this dude. Right. And he telling them what to do. He telling them which way to go. They writing him a check. More. I saw him get like 250, 300,000. He was hiring people from the church. Then the second thing that blew my mind was how we was living. So we would go to these hotels like the Westin Hotel back there, you know, in DC, and he had a presidential suite. So it had this big hook up here, then a room over there, and the room over there. And I was like, well, I didn't even know that existed.
But it did something for you though, didn't it? It just, I don't know what it is that it does, but it shocks your mind.
It does.
It shocks you. You say, whoa. Yeah. Like this, I'm not used to seeing this.
Bruh, I didn't even know it existed. Yeah. I just thought there was only rooms with like, the biggest room I ever saw when I was maybe a kid, when my mom
Embassy Suite.
The Motel 6.
No, the Embassy Suite, and it would be the big room. It would be the double beds. That was our
spot back in the day.
The double beds with the layout couch, me and my bruh.
Had the room that connects.
Bruh, let me say this to you. I was grown. When me and my cousins would go do stuff, like first of all, we was just in Chicago. So we was all in like, you know, the 2-family flats. Yeah. That was big to us. Yeah. You go to this room, 8 of y'all, you go to this room, like we was on floors. Yeah. Like, bro, we thought we went to Home Run Inn. Bro, you couldn't tell us that wasn't the life.
It actually is Home Run Inn.
Oh yeah.
That's still the life.
Right. And we had the station wagon that my cousins, we looked to different, like we looked toward the traffic.
You talking my life.
Yeah, and we was
sitting in the back.
We was sitting in the back. That was life. Right. And then I went to a hotel in my 20s and was like, yo, people living like this. Yeah. And then I went with Mr. B, and then we went on a cruise. He took me on a cruise. Ooh. I went on a cruise, bruh. And it was like, yo, you can eat like this, and we're just sitting on the balcony, and we going in the ocean. Yeah. I was like, yo, ain't no birds out here, ain't no insects. I was like, yo, this is crazy. Just the big water, you could see. I was just like, bruh, this is unbelievable. Going to islands for the first time. So to your point, Maul, when I came back from that exposure, bro, I was like, I'm ready to take on the world. Yeah. Why? Because I know somebody that looks like me that's taking on the world. Yeah. And if he can do it, I can do it. I ain't gonna lie, I'd see certain other people on TV and I would actually feel like it's impossible to do what they doing.
Right.
You know what I'm saying? Like, there's no way possible you can do that. That's for celebrity, that's for whatever. But when I saw somebody that looked just like me, and here's the last thing he did for me. He took me and Didi on a trip on the One. So we flew to Cali, got a convertible Mustang, and I had been speaking by this time, but we drove up the coast and we stopped and stayed in 4 different hotels. We stayed in the Best Western. I'm like, bro, Best Western? But this Best Western was off the ocean and you could see the ocean from the room and rocks and the whole nine. And we just took, like he stopped. He took us to fancy hotels, fancy restaurants. And we spent 4 days just going up the coast. And you see seal, you saw whales. Yeah. Like this is the first time I had really gone to Cali and seen Cali. Because we went and did stuff in LA, but we didn't get to see like the whole swag. And we drove up the coast for 4 days, stayed at some of the best hotels, and you knew it was big time because people was looking at us like, who are y'all? Yeah. You know, people would be looking at us like, how y'all get that room? How y'all, and he didn't, what's the word? He didn't spare any expense. Yeah. Like he had me and Didi, like the money we making now, he had us on that back then. And my wife told me, she's like, yo, Mr. B them, you know, they're not necessarily old, but they're older. And she's like, yo, we need to do for them what they did for us.
What's going on, y'all? Man, I know it's been a minute. Your boy been traveling. Last week that flu hit me, but I'm gonna make sure y'all hear my voice in this episode somewhere. So listen to me. This show is brought to you by one of our favorite sponsors, Ashford University. Now, I'm not sure how far you guys go back with us, but I want you guys to go on YouTube and check out our TGIM Season 1. You saw the eager, untrained Carl doing his utmost best, just trying to expose the world to the powerful messages that we were getting from E. And listen, man, you fast forward that a couple years and you look at, seasons 5, 6, 7, and you see the transition in the videos. You see the transition in my skill set. Do you know what the difference was? What you witnessed was me going back to school and getting my advanced degree in video production. I was able to find a gap that I could fill, get educated in that area, and go back and create my very own niche in filmmaking. So you go back and, to be honest, there was not a whole lot of motivational videos, you know what I mean? Like, that's something that we created, man, and now it's everywhere. But I want you guys to realize that was an opportunity I had because I went back to school, and that opportunity also can be yours today. Listen to what I'm saying. You're doing the most. You got a lot going on. I know you're trying to balance finances, family, fitness, but get this. Ashford University has flexible scheduling that provides learners with the opportunity to achieve higher education goals while just still balancing it all. Ashford allows you to pursue your higher education online, which means you can study anywhere you want to. You don't have to be in the classroom. But more importantly, they allow you to take one 6-week course at a time and still be considered a full-time student. You don't have to do any of the standardized exams, GRE, GMAT. Those standardized test scores are not required for enrolling at Ashford University. And rest assured, Ashford University is a fully accredited university, and they're accredited by the WASC Senior College and University Commission. Listen, make this the year you advance in your career by earning your master's degree. Get ready to grab all those new opportunities that are coming your way, just like I did with TGIM. Start your master's degree today. Go to ashford.edu/success. Again, that's ashford.edu/success and get that master's degree started today, guys. Back to the show.
Isn't it crazy how that exposure is like a full circle? Because where are you moving to?
California.
That image, y'all, bro. That image that y'all, right. Yeah. And it gets you right back there.
Yeah. And there's no image like that. I mean, I love Florida, but Cali with the mountains, bro, it's nothing like driving and looking at that scene. And then No,
and so in the same lines as you talking, I'm like, wow, you think of the exposure that you were able to give me from off of that, and it's crazy because you I always tell E, I'm like, even though he was only a 3, you know what I'm saying, as a speaker when I met him, you know what I'm saying, 10 now, I turned him into a 10, he was a 3. But the crazy thing is, just the fact that he was going to speak places and getting a check, to me was like life. because I had been speaking my whole life, but I never got paid for it. So you're talking about just the exposure of knowing that this could be a profession.
Yeah.
I didn't even know that like this was a profession. I had no idea that we could actually do this for a living. He was the first one that told me like, no, we can do this for a living. Because I had spoken a million times and I never even thought about being like, hey, can I get paid for this?
How much I get for
but because of, what he was exposed to, and again, it doesn't even have to be huge. I'm thinking about the fact that, for real, I took one flight my whole life. I think I said this in 7th grade, we had an AAU tournament in Florida and we like took back a bunch of pop cans and like that kind of thing and raised enough money to go to Florida and back. So that's 7th grade. So how old are you in 7th grade? 14? 13? I don't know. 13, right, 13. 13. So 13, 14 was, I flew to Florida and back one time. Bro, that was the only time I've flown in my life until I met E. And then me and E, so I don't even know if you know, but just us getting on a plane together. I'd only been on a plane one time for a basketball tournament. Us getting on the plane and flying somewhere to speak was mind-blowing for me. Wow. Like just in terms of like my feelings of like, yo, like we're actually getting on a plane and we actually going to do work and we're gonna fly back. Bro, we grew up middle class. You drive everywhere. We went to Florida. I ain't trying to make it look like we was broke. We went to Florida, but doggone it, we drove. You stop in Atlanta, see your people, and then you get the rest of the way to Orlando. That's how you did it. So for me to get on a plane, it might not have been a paid engagement. Somebody could have, one of E homies at a church in, Cali or New Jersey or something might have been like, yo, come out here. And E was smart enough to go, see, I don't even really need you to speak, but just roll. Mm-hmm. And me rolling, I'm telling you, the amount of exposure that created for me. So if you're sitting there and you're listening to us and you're like, man, I ain't got access to Bill Clinton and Babyface, but it doesn't have to be, it just needs to be a little bit beyond where you were. So he was just a little bit beyond where I was, right? In terms of his speaking, in terms of where he was financially and all of those things. So I didn't need to be exposed to, Tony Robbins at that time, you know what I'm saying? Like wherever he was already making, I didn't need to see the millionaire's lifestyle. Right. I just needed to see somebody getting on a plane. Mm. And by the way, we was not sitting in first class. No. We were sitting in the back. It was that's back when Northwest Airlines was popping. Yeah. We were sitting in the back, geeked. I'm talking about right next to each other like this. And then staying at hotels with the double bed, you know what I'm saying? In the Best Western and things of that nature.
I didn't even know there was a first class.
You had no idea?
No, I'm saying by that, I just mean it was oblivious to me. Like, I didn't walk past first class and go, man, we ain't sitting in first class. Yeah. I'm just being real. I wasn't like...
Happy to be on the plane.
Bro, I wasn't even tripping on that. I was just geek. Wow. What's our seats? We were sitting together.
Oh, yeah.
I was geek. We had the thing, one plane we went on, we didn't know no better. We had the Spirit, and the seats didn't go back. Mm-hmm. You know what I'm saying? So we was like, okay, don't ever do that again.
Yeah, we get
that's
beat.
A long flight to be doing that.
Yeah, we went to Cali straight on coach. Yeah. You know what I'm saying? And I'm not, again, don't cry for me. I'm just saying, like, it was no such thing as like, you about the first class that like you said.
Economy. I don't even think it was no comfort economy back in those days. It was just first class and the rest of us.
Yeah, and we had the whole, but even, again, imagine the level of exposure. I remember thinking it was a huge deal that we went out there for 2 weeks. Yeah. I remember thinking it was a huge deal that you was flying back to preach. Yeah. And then flying back. Yeah. I was like, whoa, we big time. Big time. He flying back to preach, then coming back out to Cali. Yeah. Like that was huge for me. That was everything. And so again, don't get caught up in like, oh, I need to be with E. It might be somebody in your community. It might be somebody not even that far, you know what I'm saying, who could just expose you to the next level. And the thing I love about, our success and the way that we got to this level is it's been building blocks. Yeah. Every step was like a little further. And again, people always like, oh, how does it feel? Y'all travel the world, y'all do all that. And I swear to you, it's not me trying to be like pseudo humble or nothing like that. It's like, bro, it really does not feel that crazy.
Yeah, because it was steps.
It came in steps, dog. It came in like the most like small increment. Like like I said, had we been, speaking and we would have went to Cali that time, Oprah would have been like, come through, and we was on Oprah Winfrey show and we blew up. I'd have been like, okay, this is out of bounds.
This is beyond me.
Our success never came like that. It never came like that. It was like, oh, okay, he got a little write-up in like a little small town newspaper. Then it was like, oh, okay, it was a little bit bigger newspaper. Then we was on the local news. Remember, it was like a couple times we went on the local news thinking like, we was on like Good Morning San Bernardino. We was like, Good Morning San Bernardino. We was like, turn turn your TVs on.
Turn your TV on.
Bro, again, but that was huge for us. You know what I'm saying? And like, so when you went on Steve Harvey, it wasn't Steve.
Well, we actually did Steve Harvey on a radio, like a live radio. He was at the mall.
Yeah.
So first time we went on Steve Harvey's show was us just sit, and we weren't even scheduled.
Oh, bro, we had
like
4 minutes. And shout out to Steve, who always been great to us. Even back then, before this was before they knew. He had no clue who we were. He just knew we were doing a program. And you could probably still look it up on YouTube. And I remember he was like, hey, hold up, stop all of this. This man coming into this community, he ain't no E from a pile of wood. And it was like, this man coming into this community, y'all bring y'all kids out and support this program. On the Steve Harvey Morning Show at the Crenshaw Mall, live remote broadcast.
So when I met him for real, like on his show,
I was standing in the back,
clapping before. I met him before. You feel me? So it's like, to C's point, you have to be careful that you don't go from obscurity to your number one dream, because then you finished. It's over. So it's actually the journey that makes it sweet. You know, it's the process. It's like, I'm just being real. Thanksgiving, when I make my turkey, it's like once I make it and people start eating it, it's anticlimactic at that point. You know what I'm saying? Y'all eating it now, it's over. You know, but when I go to the grocery store and buy that joker and I'm looking for the right one, the organic boy, I'm looking for a certain pound because I can't get it too big, too small. You know what I'm saying? When I go to the store and get the seasonings, when I'm, getting the ice to put in the big cooler, dropping it in the bag, and Carl like, yo, how's this one gonna taste? And I'm like, oh, I'm gonna let this soak for 3. It's on and popping. And then I'm checking it when I come home, making sure it's straight, putting it in the oven, taking pics. So, that's when it's fine. Putting it in the hookup, trying to get it to the church, stay warm, to my aunt's crib, stay warm. And then they eating it and everybody like, oh, that's the journey is, the process is what I enjoy. Once the turkey is done and y'all eating it all up, at that point, bro, it's over. It's done. So people trying to rush to get from here to here, and then you're gonna have another 30 years left, another 20 years left, and then you ain't got nothing, if that makes sense.
Yeah, but they gotta be careful too, because when they rushing to get from here to here, you gotta remember, exposure can be taken on, good or bad.
Oh, no question.
I remember one thing as a police officer, I remember meeting kids, and I remember seeing like when they committed a crime or something, and I would just look, like if you go to the parents' house or if you go to like the family come up to the station and things like that, you can see where this kid picked up this exposure from. So the same way how exposure would do something good for you, if you're not careful, it could also, you'll sit up and say, how did I end up in this position? Without even knowing, without even trying. The same way in a good way, you say, man, how did I end up on stage with the number one motivation speaker in the world?
How did I become?
Right. And then now, when you're hanging with the wrong kind of people, getting the wrong kind of exposure, now you wonder, how do I have 4 kids with 4 different baby mamas? It's all about that exposure.
I got 2 kids doing time in jail. You know what I'm saying?
It's about that exposure. Like, who are you hanging around? So you got to be careful at the same time, because exposure can still have a negative effect on you in the same way it can have a positive effect on you.
Yeah, it's impossible to go through, though, and think of, man, my mind is racing because, to your point, when you think about, Maul always says, one man's obedience.
It's connected to so many people's destiny.
Right, and that was never so apparent when we talk about, all right, so just look at Bell Tower Ministries, you going to Oakwood, doing what you're supposed to do. You just talked about the level of exposure that you gave me, right? And so I was able to do some things and have some moments. And then yesterday was, maybe one of the biggest moments just for us as a crew. When you think about me being able to expose Toby to something, right? And so, man, I should have led the podcast with this, doggone it. So yesterday, and this is one day we're recording this on Dr. King Day, but yesterday, Michelle Obama puts her like official 2020 playlist up and puts Toby, I'm Dope, on her official playlist that she like sent out to all the Twitter and all the IG.
Millions.
35 million followers.
35 million followers. And I'm sitting here thinking of like, when they try to solve like a murder and they put up all the like strings that go to like, and I'm like, dog, just think of like, I don't know if it's called a Venn diagram. I didn't pay attention like that in school, but like, imagine what the web would look like to like who exposed Mr. B. Like where did he get that from? And then you got it and passed it to me and I passed it to Toby and then thinking like who's gonna come under Toby. It's like, dog, it's like to your point, one man's obedience is connected to so many other people's destiny. Like, had you not exposed me to that, I wouldn't have been able to give Toby the game like I gave Toby the game. You know what I'm saying? Now he got doggone the most popular person on planet Earth, Michelle Obama, you know, rocking to his music. Like, think about like what that really takes in terms of, you know, obedience and sacrifice. So it's like, man, when you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing and you're not handling business and you quitting and not exposing other people, you're doing not only
selfish.
You're not only doing yourself a disservice, you're doing a disservice to everybody who was supposed to glean off of you. You know what I mean? Like, that's a scary thing, bro, to really think about how, you know what I mean? So, yeah, nah. Man, what do y'all think about Toby and Michelle? Did y'all see that post?
I did. I saw it. For me, I was just like, here, and to your point, Maul, I'm not tripping on what Toby's doing because I met him and I know how talented he was. I'm tripping on the time frame. Like how, to your point, with exposure, with him having us, you know, not necessarily as it relates to his talent and what he's doing, but having us in terms of the process. And knowing like, okay, Get Twisted Tuesday, Get Twisted Sunday, thank God it's Monday. Like him just having that, okay, I can call CJ the majority of the time to get boom, you know, when I say Quincy Jones and then just calling me on the spiritual, you know, tip and the maturity tip. And just to see how he's taking that information and how quickly he is blown up. Like it's a lot of people that do well, but it may take them 10, 20 years, whatever. Like in the short time span that he started with the I'm So Gone challenge to where he is now and the milestones that he's hitting. You know, Erykah Badu, David Chappelle, you know, then BET, then, you know, whatever the sponsors were. I don't know if it was McDonald's, whoever it was. And then he went to the video games, football, basketball, football.
2K,
MLB. Baseball.
Sway.
You know what I'm saying? Sway. Cypress Hill. You know what I'm saying? Then he hit, what was that just recently? Come on, E. Michelle Obama. You know what I'm saying? And just to see how the BET Awards, actually, you know, BET Awards, like just to see like, wow, the magazines, you know, just Houston, the mayor coming out, giving him the key to the city. It's just like, yo, you know, married, because he wasn't married when I first married. All of a sudden, not married to married with 2 kids. You know what I'm saying? And just the stuff that, you know, him and Nell and Fat are doing, it's just like, yo, Tobe, you covered a lot of ground quickly. You know, and again, that comes from, imagine if he had to do it by himself. Without having, that's why a lot of kids out here, yo, I'm do it by myself. I don't need nobody. Yeah, you don't. But it may take you 25 years with that mentality. Whereas if you lean on people you can trust and people who've already gone through the process, it's what I tell my son all the time. Yo, bro, I'm 49. You ain't never been 49, but I've been 24.
Exactly.
You feel me? So like, I'm just trying to tell you, you want to do it on your own, you can. But I've been 24, bro. You ain't never been 49. You feel me? So you might want to listen to what I'm trying to tell you. I've been married longer than you've been alive. You feel what I'm saying? Like you might want to listen to me because what I can do for you is get you to happiness a lot faster than if you try to figure it out on your own.
No question. Big time, man. No, appreciate the convo, man. We appreciate our sponsor, Organifi. Shout out to them for being an incredible sponsor of this podcast. ORGANIFI.com, man. Use the promo code SUCCESS for 20% off. We appreciate them rocking with us as always, man. Man, shout out to Carl, man. We miss Carl, man. The Debating Sensation. We'll get him back on the podcast as well. Real quick, I wanted to get y'all, you know, I guess we had one more before the Super Bowl, but we saw the AFC, NFC championships. I thought Lamar was going to be in there.
Well, I'm saying before the year started, though, we predicted the Chiefs was going to go.
We did?
Before the hype, though. Yeah, before the hype. You might got caught up later with the hype.
Yeah, Lamar. But, I had Lamar fever.
No question.
And it didn't work out. So you a Raven? I can't remember. Oh, Redskins. Yeah. So you wasn't. Yeah, you in Lions territory. But no. So San Fran versus KC. I didn't see San Fran coming at the beginning of this year.
I saw San Fran. That defense, the defensive line. I didn't see the Chiefs. San Fran definitely.
Well, I saw the Chiefs just because last year to me he almost beat Brady. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, yo, if you almost beat Brady last year, I didn't think that the Patriots gonna be that stacked. Had they stayed with Gordon, had AB not, had the challenges that he had, I think they would have won.
Yeah.
But you got Brady, 41 years old, with he had no weapons at all. Period weapons. Somebody he might be coming to the Lion. I'm like, unbelievable. The Lion fans the Lion fans will say that.
The
Lion fans, like, he coming.
That'll be like how when Jordan went to the Wizards.
In our luck, I promise you, he wouldn't be able to throw a ball more than 5 yards and come to the line.
So I saw, KC going, but to your point, I didn't see San Fran. I don't know who I thought I had the Saints going. I had the Saints going. I had Saints KC. You know what I'm saying? So, I said the Lions teasing, but, all the home fans would be like, oh, you didn't say the Lions. I did. And look what happened.
I say the Lions every year until we get mathematically eliminated in week 4.
Right. You know what I'm saying? Week 4.
We already
like, shoot.
That's it. This the psyche of a Lions fan.
Yeah.
This our year.
Yeah.
We got it. We win one to start out. We like, finally. We own. Boom, we lose about 8 straight, and then start looking at who the best college players are.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? You're like, man.
Who coming out?
Here go the bad part about the Lions. Is like, the second half of the season, you got to root against them. You like, y'all bums better not win now.
Yeah.
And mess up. We done won the last 2 and try to worsen our draft position. You're like, man, so you got to cheer against the Lions in the second half of the season. One day, dog. One day.
Yeah, this is going to be a tough Super Bowl, though.
One day. No, it's going to be a great Super Bowl.
This is going to be probably one of the best Super Bowls in recent years.
I'm going with the KC, though, because I'm hoping it's been a while since, the Washington Redskins, Doug Williams. It's been a minute. So I know we had, what's your boy?
What? Russell Wilson?
Yeah, Seahawks, yeah. So that's 2. So I'm saying the league been out for 100 years. We had 2, so.
But that's why I was hoping Lamar, I want to.
Real.
I'm talking about Lamar would have been in that. You know what I'm saying?
He came with the braids and twisties.
Oh, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah. Kodak Black would have been Super Bowl performance. You know what I'm saying? They'd have had Kodak doing
Kodak when he came out.
little dance. At the Super Bowl, we'd have been lit.
They didn't let him out for a couple hours.
Instead, we got Garoppolo. You know what I'm saying? But it's all good. Shout out to them. Also, what other announcements we got?
We got Make Real Estate Real.
Make Real Estate
Real 2-day seminar in DC, the 25th and the 26th.
Yep.
Shout out to our sponsor, DC Invest.
Yes, in the building.
In the building, Marcus and Reggie.
Can we get him on camera?
Come on, for sure, bro.
He in the building.
Yeah, come on over. The thing I love about
we got a black quarterback.
You know what I'm saying?
We got a black quarterback.
Yeah, what's up, boy? Appreciate you. Shout out to our sponsor, DC Invest.
DC Invest.
We got Lamar Jackson in the building.
You know what I'm saying?
The thing I love about them, man, they actually investors themselves too. So I had a great weekend. I went out to DC, spent some time with Marcus and Reggie. They took me around and showed me some of the projects they got going on and stuff. So so they legit.
I appreciate it. What's the website? Give them the site.
DCInvestLLC.com.
DCInvestLLC.com. Yeah, for sure. So make sure y'all check them out, man. Again, to do what we do always takes great sponsors and great, relationships, business relationships, things of that nature. So we appreciate it.
Exposure.
Phenomenal Life Mexico is sold out. So I would, I would tell y'all to come. Man, but it's sold out. Now you know what happened now, though.
Yeah, but no.
Everybody in their mom. Oh, yeah?
Yeah, I'm trying to get somebody on. And me, I'm calling like, I need that. And they like, ain't no more rooms. I said, no, don't play.
This ET.
I said, don't play. We have no advertising stuff. They're like, no, it's no more rooms in our spot.
Yeah.
I was like, you lying. It was like, no, they'll put them on the waiting list. I was hurt. I was like, it's my mama. You know what I'm saying?
She can stay with you.
Mama. I'm sorry, Bob.
He was like, we got. But bro, you got the presidential. You got 8 bedrooms in there. Mom can't stay in one.
Let's see the configuration of that.
Oh, you want to see the? You want to make sure? Make sure you got at least 3 doors down.
He said that. My head said that.
No. So give me. Somebody help me out with the other dates real quick. We got. You Not the Boss of Me.
Houston, February 8th. February 9th. Go be there on the 8th in your hotel. Be settled. And then on the 9th, which is Sunday, let's make it happen. So February 20, Extreme Execution Coaching in Lansing, Michigan.
Oh.
That's the 22nd and 23rd. And then, don't trip. Yours truly, we move in, Game Changers, back to the elbow, so you can get that crack chicken and the crack message.
Excited.
Let's go.
You can get both of them. You can get the message first, then the crack chicken when you finish.
Yeah, all my speakers, GameChangers.com, ETAGameChangers.com. Make sure you go check us out. We'd love to have you up.
In our building.
You got the 1% days.
Yep. And then, man, let me tell y'all something. For all y'all that missed the 1% in Miami, it was fire. E.T. the hip hop preacher came out on stage.
Well, they came first.
He came out on stage. No, come on, man.
They set the standard.
E.T. the hip hop preacher came out on stage, and he was the old hip hop preacher. I mean, he came out and straight up brought that fire. So for all y'all that missed it, hey, we going to London, March the 7th.
London, make sure y'all come out, man. We super excited. Y'all been hitting this up for a minute. This is our first event. Our own event. Say
it again.
All right, this is our own event. All right, this is
sponsoring this.
Yeah, this is not somebody brought E in and paid him to come speak. This is an ETA event, our very first official. Our squad, our team. We all there. We running the show top to bottom, so we super excited. Looking forward to that. It's gonna be ET the whole time. You know what I'm saying? A little bit of me, Marl and Tiff sprinkled in, but you're gonna get a lot of ET, and I know that's what y'all want. So looking forward to the UK. Coming there, getting them fish and chips. You know what I'm saying?
Fish and chips. I had fish and chips for the first time, by the way. Thanks to the Queen family.
For sure.
Yeah, they put me on. What was it? Mexico.
Yeah, Mexico.
In Mexico.
Was it straight in Mexico?
Oh, it was wonderful.
Oh, wow. In Mexico?
Oh, bro.
Fish and chips?
It was good.
Wow, okay.
Cabo kind of like LA, though. It ain't like, you know what I'm saying? Cabo like a little different. They a little bit more Western now.
So definitely make sure you come out to London. Your boy get the opportunity to introduce the hip hop preacher to the stage. Oh man, April 18th, Los Angeles, California.
We're going back to Cali. Cali. We going back.
Crib might be done by then.
We'll see.
Oh yeah, no, I got.
What was the date again?
That's April 18th.
Oh no, we're gonna have a little bit way to go.
Oh, for
Party
real?
at your house.
Oh yeah.
I wish.
We just go out to the dirt and just hang out.
Okay. Yeah, we can if you want to.
I do.
Yeah, let's
You know
go.
what I'm saying?
Okay.
Hey, you know what I'm saying?
Dirt it is.
May 23rd, we back right here in Atlanta, Georgia.
Hey, that's what's up.
Yeah.
1%?
Yeah, 1%.
Beautiful.
Yep, May 23rd. And then June 6th, Houston, Texas. That's gonna be nice. Yeah, it's gonna be real hot in Houston.
Who put it in Houston in June?
I don't know. Probably
We had the
Texas.
AC on.
All right, this is the big one here. June the 20th, we going to Honolulu.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, we're going to Honolulu.
Oh yeah, for sure. For the Pro Bowl.
For the Pro Bowl. July 25th, we're in Toronto.
Okay. Yo.
Yeah, we're in Toronto.
It's been a TO in a minute.
Yeah.
Hey, you know what I was telling somebody? I was like, man, that was one of our spots. Like before.
Toronto was huge.
Oh, it was back and forth.
Yeah.
That might have been the first place he was kind of popping on the low.
No question.
Like where we would go and they would be like geeked up.
Yeah, Toronto was fire.
October the 24th, Washington, D.C.
Yep.
You know? We're going.
It is.
Exactly.
We're going back.
And then
going back to
The
the capital.
last 1% of the year is in Reno, Nevada.
Don't say that. I'm trying to get Chi-Town. I'm trying to get us on the schedule. I don't know who didn't put us on the schedule, but I'm trying to get Chi-Town on the schedule. I know I got to make some calls.
Let's go.
But I'm trying to get us on the schedule, y'all.
Let's
So
go.
Just pray God bless us with like 5 more weekends this year. You know what I'm saying? We need like extra weekend, extra Saturdays and Sundays.
We'll double one up.
I promise
double
you.
one up.
I'm with it.
So that's November the 14th in Reno. Then we throw Chi-Town on there. Hey, Chi-Town came out last year.
They came out. That's what I'm saying. I don't know why. Almost 1,000.
It was 1,100.
Oh, so why
It
we
was
not in-
1,100.
Why we going?
Standing room only.
Why we going to Reno again? No, I'm sorry for Ty.
Right.
I'm sorry for Ty.
But man, though, we our sponsors for all the 1%, man.
DC
invest again.
DC has invested
Right.
in us. Yeah, they've invested in us. Hey, and on the sneak tip, I'm not supposed to be announcing this out loud because Tiffany and I don't have the exact dates or cities, but Tiffany and I this year, somewhere in the USA, we're going to do a 7-day revival. Tiffany and E.T., 7 days. We going in like old school, like when I was back in the day. Don't know when, don't know where. I'll be back again. But the revival was coming, y'all.
Hey, appreciate y'all. Thank you for letting us use your hotel room, man. You know what I'm saying?
Thank you, Didi.
Yeah, thank you, Dilcy. And
wherever has not been out yet.
In room 7 over there. You know what I'm saying?
Right.
But no, appreciate y'all listening, man. As always, shout out to everybody for coming through. We got a whole room squad in here. Shout out to Val, Nikki.
Can we get
Nick
a span? Can we?
You know what I'm saying?
Can we show who's in the room?
Yeah, exactly.
It.
And the big guy in the corner, that's Tommy.
There's Tommy right
that's Tommy
there.
with the Make Real Estate Real shirt on.
Yeah, he's cuddly.
Yeah, I know Tommy ain't got a job.
But he will shoot you. He's cuddly, but he will shoot you if you run up on E. You know what I'm saying? He run up on 18.
Hey, run up on me one time this year, please. I want to see it.
Oh yeah, no, I promise you.
Oh man.
Hey, no, we were in Mexico and these dudes tried to kind of run up on the Tommy grabbed my man by the shirt. Was like, "Hey man, get you." I was like, "Yeah."
He tried to run up on what?
He tried to run up on the truck. Everybody was in the truck, and my man tried to run up and just try to, I don't know, open the door up. And we all in the car, and Tommy just
what did he try
take
to
off?
Yeah, I don't know. You know, they just be like aggressive, like trying to get. I think trying to get you to
come to their place,
buy weed or something. You know what I'm saying?
Oh man.
They just doing too much. Like, are we going? Like, we pulled up, like we weren't even getting out right there, but they thought we were getting out. So my man like yanked open the door and like leaned in the car, like, hey. And Tommy was like, I was like, oh yeah. We put the right person in that seat. You know what I'm saying?
Okay.
Because
right
Maul ain't no cop no more. Maul would have called the police.
Now you know what I would have did? I would have tried to use my speaker skills. I would have tried to talk about, bro. I would have tried to motivate him. Hey, brother, you don't want to do this. Let me give you 3 reasons why you don't want to do this. Reason number one.
You don't want to do this.
Reason number 1. Yeah. Do you know you could have a building that could pay for whatever you're trying to sell me right now?
It's another way for this.
Exactly.
Hey, but for real, make sure. I know we joking and playing, but exposure.
Yeah.
Make sure wherever you are, you can start with YouTube. That's the cool thing about the internet. You don't even have to know nobody. So if it's like you want to be the next Oprah Winfrey, you want to be the next Tyler Perry, you want to be the next Kobe Bryant, whatever, you can literally go online and study them and research them and put on your list. Somebody showed me yesterday, my 2020 list was to meet you. They literally put that down, and guess what happened? I ended up coming to Atlanta and coming into right in their backyard, and they got a chance to meet me. So make sure you have what do you want to get exposed to? Like, don't let it be, what's the word I'm looking for? Reactive. Like, be proactive. Like, really write down, this is where I want to be exposed to. These are the people, this is the place, this is the time, write it all down. And I guarantee you, man, like, for real, I'll never forget, I told C, like, a couple years ago, like, yo, we need investors like now. Like, we need people to help sponsor, whatever. And then boom, we woke up one day, boom, we got sponsored for the year. You feel me? So even ET got to write stuff down. Like, don't think I'm like, I got everything in life I want. We still talking Nobel. Last night, somebody hit me, was like, yo, I read the You Not the Boss of Me book. Yo, I could see you winning the Nobel Prize. People buying it, taking the test. So I'm writing it down, and then things are happening even for me right now. So exposure, don't just listen for entertainment. Do what we told you to do, and I'm telling you, you're going to be grateful. Your 30-year-old is going to be grateful for the 20-year-old for doing it.
Hey, appreciate that nugget. We out of here. We'll see you next week.
Let's go.
I want you to focus on here right now. Don't you worry about when you get home. You concentrate on this opportunity. You don't worry about tomorrow. You concentrate on this opportunity with all your might, with all your soul.